What if the very ground beneath our feet suddenly stopped moving? Imagine, if you will, the Earth ceasing its ceaseless rotation, not gradually, not over eons, but right now, in this very instant. The consequences would be nothing short of apocalyptic, an immediate and catastrophic reshaping of our world as we know it. Hold on tight, because the journey we're about to embark on will take us through the terrifying yet strangely beautiful aftermath of this impossible scenario. Our blue planet, a celestial voyager hurtling through space, is a delicate balancing act of forces we often take for granted. The Earth spins at a staggering 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, a silent ballet of motion that dictates our days, our nights, our very existence. But what if this cosmic dance were to stop? What would become of the delicate balance, the intricate web of life that clings to this spinning sphere? The very notion sends shivers down our spines, conjuring images of chaos and destruction. Yet, there's a strange allure to this doomsday scenario, a morbid curiosity that compels us to explore the unthinkable. It's a stark reminder of our own fragility, our precarious existence on a planet that holds the power to unleash such unimaginable forces. So let us delve into this hypothetical abyss, this thought experiment that reveals the delicate threads upon which our reality hangs. Let us journey together through the unimaginable chaos and witness the Earth's transformation, a journey that will challenge our understanding of the planet we call home. Picture this. You're going about your day, oblivious to the cosmic shift about to occur. Suddenly, the Earth breaks, and everything not bolted down becomes a projectile in a global game of cosmic billiards. Buildings, once symbols of permanence, crumble like sandcastles before a raging tide. People, mere specks against the vast canvas of the Earth, are flung eastward with the force of 1,000 hurricanes. The very air we breathe, no longer dragged along by the Earth's rotation, transforms into a weapon of unimaginable power. Winds of unimaginable fury, exceeding 1,000 miles per hour, would scour the Earth's surface, reshaping mountains, carving new valleys, and leaving behind a trail of devastation unlike anything mankind has ever witnessed. The oceans, those vast bodies of water that cradle our continents, would rise up in monstrous tsunamis, swallowing coastlines and redrawing the maps with terrifying speed. Imagine entire cities vanishing beneath walls of water, the once familiar landmarks reduced to rubble beneath the waves. Even the very ground beneath our feet would betray us, as tectonic plates, no longer held in their delicate balance, would grind against each other with renewed fury. Earthquakes of unprecedented magnitude would ripple across the globe, opening up chasms, collapsing mountains, and unleashing the fiery fury of volcanoes long dormant. It's a vision of hell on Earth, a testament to the raw power our planet holds in its spinning core. To truly grasp the immediate devastation, we must first comprehend the sheer speed at which our planet spins. At the equator, the Earth rotates at a mind-boggling 1,000 miles per hour. This invisible force, this constant companion in our planetary journey, is something we rarely consider. Yet it's this very motion that keeps our world in balance. Now, imagine that motion vanishing in an instant. The laws of physics are relentless, and the first casualty of a sudden stop would be inertia. Everything on Earth's surface, from the air we breathe to the buildings we inhabit, carries this momentum. It's as if the entire planet were a speeding train suddenly slamming on its brakes. The passengers in this case, everything not firmly anchored to bedrock, would be thrown forward with unimaginable force. Imagine, if you will, the skyscrapers that define our cities, transformed into gigantic projectiles, ripping through the air with the force of rockets. Picture oceans surging out of their basins, cascading over continents in monstrous tsunamis that would make the wrath of Poseidon look like a ripple in a pond. The very air, no longer dragged along by the Earth's rotation, would transform into winds of unimaginable fury, scouring the surface with hurricane-force gales exceeding anything ever recorded. In this initial moment of chaos, survival would be a matter of sheer luck. Those unfortunate souls on the surface would be at the mercy of forces beyond comprehension. Buildings would crumble, trees would snap like twigs, and the very landscape would be reshaped in the blink of an eye. It's a sobering thought, a reminder of the immense power that lies dormant within our seemingly stable planet. The initial shockwave would be only the beginning. As the Earth's rotation grinds to a halt, the built environment, our carefully constructed world of concrete, steel, and glass, would become a testament to the destructive power of inertia. Skyscrapers, once symbols of human ambition, would become monstrous projectiles. Imagine the Empire State Building, ripped from its foundations by the eastward lurch. Envision the Shard in London, transformed into a deadly javelin, slicing through the air with enough force to level entire city blocks. These architectural marvels, designed to withstand gravity and wind, would be no match for the sheer force of a planet's momentum suddenly unleashed. Bridges, those delicate ribbons of steel and concrete that span rivers and valleys, would twist and contort like tortured beasts before collapsing in a tangle of wreckage. Homes, workplaces, monuments, all would be swept away in a maelstrom of debris, leaving behind a scarred and unrecognizable landscape. But the devastation wouldn't be limited to the grand structures of human civilization. Even the seemingly insignificant would become deadly projectiles. Cars, buses, trains, all would be transformed into unguided missiles, hurtling through the air with terrifying speed. The very objects that connect us, that facilitate our modern lives, would become agents of chaos and destruction. While buildings and vehicles become agents of destruction, the human cost of this catastrophic event would be, honestly, immeasurable. Imagine for a moment the terror of feeling the ground beneath you lurch to a halt, the disorientation of a world suddenly gone mad. The human body, so adaptable in many ways, is utterly unprepared for this kind of event. Those caught outdoors would be the first victims. The 1,000-mile-per-hour eastward surge at the equator would be like being inside a barrel during a tornado, only on, well, a planetary scale. Limbs would be snapped, bones shattered, and bodies tossed aside like rag dolls. Survival, in these first few minutes, would be a matter of pure blind luck. Inside buildings, the situation would be no less dire. People would be thrown against walls, crushed by falling debris, or simply hurled out of windows to face the maelstrom outside. The very structures meant to protect us would become death traps, their collapse adding to the ever-growing body count. And yet, amidst this unimaginable chaos, there would be stories of survival. Individuals shielded by a quirk of fate, perhaps in a basement or a subway tunnel, might just weather the initial onslaught. But their ordeal would be far from over. They would emerge into a world utterly transformed, a desolate landscape where the very air they breathed would be a threat to their existence. As the initial shockwaves subside, a new horror would grip the ravaged planet, the unbridled fury of the atmosphere. No longer tethered to the Earth's rotation, the very air we breathe would transform into a weapon of unimaginable power. Imagine winds exceeding 1,000 miles per hour, howling across the planet with the force of 1,000 tornadoes combined. These wouldn't be mere gusts or gales, but unrelenting walls of pressure, capable of shredding concrete, pulverizing forests, and scouring the very topsoil from the Earth. The skies would darken as the atmosphere, choked with dust, debris, and the remnants of a shattered civilization, turned the day into an endless twilight. The once familiar sounds of nature would be replaced by an ear-splitting cacophony, the screech of wind, the crash of collapsing structures, the rumble of distant earthquakes. These hypercanes, as some scientists have dubbed them, would carve new paths across continents, their fury reshaping the very face of the planet. Coastal regions, already battered by tsunamis, would be subjected to the full brunt of these winds, their once familiar landscapes transformed into alien wastelands. As minutes turn into hours, an eerie silence would descend upon the ravaged Earth. The winds, having spent their initial fury, would gradually subside, leaving behind a scene of, honestly, unimaginable devastation. The planet, once a vibrant sphere of life and color, would be cloaked in a shroud of dust and debris. The sun, if it could be seen through the choked atmosphere, would hang strangely still in the sky, a constant reminder of the cosmic event that had just transpired. The familiar cycle of day and night, a rhythm ingrained in the very fabric of life, would be no more. But this silence, this semblance of peace, would be a cruel illusion. The worst was yet to come. The oceans, their waters displaced by the initial shock, would soon surge back with a vengeance, unleashing tsunamis that would dwarf the first wave in both scale and destructive power. And beneath the surface, the Earth itself would be racked by convulsions. Tectonic plates, no longer held in their delicate balance, would grind against each other with renewed fury, triggering earthquakes of unimaginable magnitude. Volcanoes, long dormant, would awaken with fiery roars, spewing molten rock and ash into the already poisoned atmosphere. The nightmare was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. As the initial shock of the Earth's sudden stop reverberates across the globe, the very air we breathe transforms into a weapon of unimaginable power. No longer dragged along by the planet's 1,000-mile-per-hour eastward rotation at the equator, the atmosphere is suddenly a force unto itself, a runaway train of gaseous fury. Winds exceeding anything ever witnessed in human history, winds that make even the fiercest hurricanes seem like gentle breezes, begin to howl across the ravaged landscape. Imagine standing on this newly still Earth, if you were fortunate enough to survive the initial jolt. The ground beneath you is no longer a comforting constant, but a silent testament to the cataclysm. Above, the sky churns with a violence that defies description. These aren't mere gusts or gales, but relentless walls of pressure, capable of shredding concrete, pulverizing forests, and scouring the very topsoil from the Earth. Buildings that withstood the initial eastward lurch are now subjected to forces that mock their careful engineering. Skyscrapers groan and sway, their windows exploding inward as the pressure mounts. Bridges, those delicate ribbons of steel and concrete, twist and contort like tortured beasts before collapsing in a tangle of wreckage. The very air has become a weapon of mass destruction, carving new paths across continents with its unrelenting fury. And it's not just the wind itself that poses a threat. The atmosphere, choked with dust, debris, and the remnants of a shattered civilization, turns the day into an endless twilight. Visibility drops to mere feet as a thick, gritty fog envelops the planet. The familiar sounds of nature are replaced by an ear-splitting cacophony. The screech of wind, the crash of collapsing structures, the rumble of distant earthquakes. A symphony of chaos that heralds the end of the world as we know it. These winds, driven by the Earth's residual momentum and the immense pressure gradients created by the sudden stop, would circle the globe with terrifying speed. Scientists have dubbed them hypercanes, a fitting name for storms of such unprecedented ferocity. Unlike hurricanes, which are localized events, these hypercanes would be a global phenomenon, a planetary tempest that would rage for days, if not weeks, on end. The effects of these hypercanes would be nothing short of apocalyptic. Forests would be flattened, their trees stripped bare and scattered like matchsticks. Mountainsides would be scoured clean of vegetation, their once majestic peaks reduced to jagged, wind-blasted ruins. The very topsoil, essential for life as we know it, would be ripped from the Earth's surface and carried aloft, turning fertile fields into barren wastelands. And as if the winds themselves weren't enough, the debris they carry would transform the air into a lethal shrapnel storm. Chunks of concrete, shards of glass, twisted metal, all would become deadly projectiles, capable of impaling, crushing, or decapitating anything in their path. Even seeking shelter underground would offer little protection from this relentless bombardment. In the face of such overwhelming force, survival would become a matter of sheer luck. Those fortunate enough to find themselves in the lee of mountains or deep underground might just weather the storm. But for most, the hypercanes would be an inescapable death sentence, a testament to the raw power of a force we rarely consider, the very air we breathe. While the atmosphere rages above, a different kind of chaos unfolds beneath the waves. The oceans, those vast bodies of water that cover over 70% of our planet's surface, are no less affected by the Earth's sudden stop. The centrifugal force that once kept them centered around the equator is gone, and they begin to migrate towards the poles, driven by the relentless tug of gravity. Imagine the Atlantic Ocean, no longer held in check, surging northward with unimaginable force. Coastal cities along the equator, already battered by the initial shockwaves and hypercanes, would find themselves high and dry, their once bustling harbors transformed into dust bowls. Meanwhile, the polar regions would be inundated by a deluge of water, their icy landscapes vanishing beneath miles of displaced ocean. The consequences of this oceanic upheaval would be profound. Entire continents would be reshaped, their coastlines redrawn by the relentless advance and retreat of the seas. New land masses would emerge from the depths, while old ones would vanish beneath the waves. The familiar outlines of our world map would be erased, replaced by a chaotic patchwork of water and land. But the change wouldn't be merely geographical. The displacement of such vast quantities of water would have a devastating impact on marine life. Entire ecosystems would be disrupted, their delicate balance thrown into chaos. Fish, mammals, and other sea creatures would be tossed about like toys in a bathtub, their habitats destroyed, their food sources gone. The oceans, once teeming with life, would become vast, watery graveyards. As oceans surged toward the poles, the Earth's crust would buckle and warp, reshaping the planet. Submerged lands would rise, forming raw, barren continents and mountain ranges. Over time, wind and rain would sculpt these new landscapes, laying the groundwork for future ecosystems. Meanwhile, existing continents would erode, their edges crumbling into the sea. Iconic cities and landmarks would vanish beneath the waves, lost to history. The transformation would unfold over millennia, a stark reminder of nature's unstoppable power. The ocean's migration would unleash colossal tsunamis, dwarfing anything in recorded history. Walls of water would obliterate coastal cities, surging inland for miles and reshaping entire landscapes. Forests uprooted, farmland destroyed, and freshwater sources poisoned by saltwater. The aftermath, a world scarred by destruction, with toxic waters and decaying remnants of civilization. Survivors would face famine, disease, and a landscape forever changed. The Earth's face would be unrecognizable. Nature's fury would leave a legacy of devastation. After the chaos, silence would settle over a transformed world. The equator, once lush, would become a scorched wasteland under relentless sun. The poles, now oceans, would freeze into vast ice sheets, reflecting sunlight and deepening the chill. Only a narrow twilight band would offer tolerable conditions. Here, if any survived, humanity would cling to existence. The Earth's vibrant blue and green would fade to stark extremes. Life would persist only in the margins of this new alien world. The Twilight Zone, a thin strip between extremes, would be humanity's last refuge. Survivors would become nomads, following the shifting band of habitable land. Resources would be scarce, forcing adaptation and innovation. Plants and animals would evolve to thrive in perpetual dusk. Humanity's resilience would be tested as never before. Our history of survival would be our only guide. In this crucible, a new kind of human might emerge. The end of Earth's rotation would shatter the rhythms of life. No sunrise or sunset, just endless twilight. Circadian rhythms would collapse, causing sleep disorders and health crises. Mental health would suffer. Depression and anxiety would surge. Plants and animals, too, would struggle to adapt. The web of life woven over eons would unravel. Survival would demand new ways of living. The loss of day and night would redefine existence. Life's resilience would be tested, but adaptation is possible. Humans might evolve new biological rhythms or invent technology to simulate day and night. Underground shelters and artificial lighting could offer stability. Innovation would be essential for survival. The challenge could spark unprecedented advances. From adversity, a new humanity could arise. The psychological toll would be immense. The loss of familiar cycles, constant danger, and scarcity would strain the human spirit. Depression and trauma would be widespread. Yet history shows our capacity for resilience and hope. Survivors would need creativity, compassion, and unity to rebuild. In facing the unimaginable, humanity might discover new strength. Our spirit would be tested and perhaps transformed. The true danger lies beneath the surface. Earth's spinning core generates a magnetic field that shields us from cosmic radiation. If the planet stopped, this shield would weaken and vanish over time. Solar wind would begin stripping away our atmosphere. The sky would become a harbinger of doom. Gradually, Earth would lose its air, becoming barren like Mars. The loss of our magnetic shield would seal our fate. Without our magnetosphere, the sun's radiation would bombard Earth. Solar flares and cosmic rays would trigger deadly auroras and genetic mutations. Plants and animals would perish from radiation sickness. DNA would be damaged, leading to cancers and birth defects. The last survivors would face an invisible, relentless enemy. The sun, once life-giving, would become lethal. Earth's final chapter would be written in radiation and silence. The loss of our magnetic field wouldn't just be a biological catastrophe. It would also herald the end of the digital age as we know it. Our modern world, so reliant on technology, would be plunged back into a pre-electronic era. Electronics, those marvels of modern engineering, are incredibly vulnerable to the sun's fury. The same electromagnetic forces that power our smartphones, computers, and power grids would be their undoing. Imagine for a moment a world without the internet, without GPS, without the constant hum of electricity that powers our lives. Satellites, those silent sentinels that orbit our planet, would be fried by solar storms, their delicate electronics overloaded by the surge of energy. Communication networks would collapse. Air travel would grind to a halt. The global financial system, so reliant on instant communication, would fall into chaos. Even if, somehow, some electronic devices miraculously survived the initial onslaught, they would be useless in this new environment. The constant barrage of radiation would interfere with radio waves, scramble data, and fry circuits. Our once reliable technology would become a liability, a reminder of a time when humanity believed it had mastered the forces of nature. The digital apocalypse wouldn't be limited to our gadgets and infrastructure. Power grids, those sprawling networks of cables and transformers, would be particularly vulnerable to geomagnetic storms. The surge of energy from the sun would induce powerful currents in these grids, overloading transformers, causing blackouts, and potentially triggering widespread fires. The lights quite literally would go out on modern civilization. The sky, once a symbol of limitless possibility, would become a graveyard for our technological ambition. Satellites, those marvels of engineering that have become indispensable to modern life, would be among the first casualties of Earth's magnetic demise. Orbiting hundreds of miles above the Earth, they would have no protection from the sun's wrath. Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing streaks of fire as satellites, their orbits decaying, plummet back to Earth. Each fiery descent would be a reminder of our lost connection to the wider world. GPS navigation, so reliant on a constellation of orbiting satellites, would cease to function. Ships at sea would lose their bearings. Planes would be grounded. Our ability to navigate the world, once taken for granted, would be severely compromised. The loss of communication satellites would be even more profound. Imagine a world without television, without international phone calls, without the internet. The global village, so interconnected by invisible threads of data, would be fragmented into isolated pockets. News from distant lands would take weeks, if not months, to arrive. Coordination of aid and relief efforts would be nearly impossible. The human race, once united by technology, would be scattered and alone. And it wouldn't just be our technological infrastructure that would suffer. The loss of satellites would also hamper our ability to monitor the planet's health. Weather forecasting, climate change research, even our understanding of natural disasters would be severely hampered. We would be blinded in a world increasingly hostile and unpredictable. The magnetic catastrophe and the digital dark age it ushers in would be a stark reminder of the fragility of our technological civilization. We have come to rely so heavily on our gadgets, our networks, our intricate systems, that we often forget how vulnerable they are to the forces of nature. The Earth's magnetic field, that invisible shield that has protected us for millennia, is not a given. It is a precious and precarious gift, one that we often take for granted. But amidst the technological ruins, the human spirit, that indomitable force that has driven us to explore, to innovate, to overcome, would undoubtedly find a way. We would adapt, as we always have, to the challenges of a changing world. We would find new ways to communicate, new ways to navigate, new ways to live. The loss of our technology might even be the catalyst for a new era of human connection. Forced to rely on each other rather than our devices, we might rediscover the lost art of face-to-face communication, of community building, of cooperation. We might learn to value the simple things in life, the things that truly matter: family, friends, the natural world around us. The digital dark age, while undoubtedly a time of great hardship, might also be an opportunity for a fresh start, a chance to rebuild our world, our societies, and ourselves in a more sustainable and equitable way. It would be a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, our ability to adapt, to overcome, and to find hope even in the face of the apocalypse. So far, we've explored the terrifying consequences of Earth's rotation coming to a sudden, cataclysmic halt. But what if the brakes were applied gradually, over millions of years, rather than in one catastrophic instant? What if, instead of a sudden stop, our planet's spin simply slowed? While the ultimate outcome, a tidally locked Earth facing the sun like a cosmic clock, would be the same, the journey there would be remarkably different. Imagine, if you will, the subtle changes that would unfold over generations. Days would lengthen, imperceptibly at first, then more noticeably as decades turned into centuries. Sunsets, once a daily spectacle, would become protracted affairs, the sky ablaze with fiery hues for hours on end as the sun took its leisurely time dipping below the horizon. Night, too, would stretch longer, the stars a constant presence in the sky, their twinkling light a reminder of the universe beyond our slowing world. This gradual slowdown wouldn't be a uniform phenomenon. Just as a spinning top wobbles before it falls, Earth's rotation would become increasingly erratic. Days wouldn't simply lengthen in a linear fashion. Instead, they might fluctuate, some longer, some shorter, creating a chaotic and unpredictable pattern that would disrupt our carefully calibrated calendars and throw our lives into disarray. The seasons, too, would be affected. As Earth's rotation slowed, the length of the seasons would change, with some lasting longer and others shorter, disrupting the delicate balance of ecosystems and challenging humanity's ability to adapt. The predictable rhythm of nature, a rhythm we've relied upon for millennia, would become a thing of the past, replaced by a new, more erratic tempo that would test our ingenuity and our resilience. To understand the potential fate of a slowing Earth, we need only look to our celestial neighbor Venus. This enigmatic world, often called Earth's evil twin due to its hellish surface temperatures and toxic atmosphere, holds valuable clues about the consequences of a sluggish spin. Venus rotates incredibly slowly, taking a leisurely 243 Earth days to complete a single rotation. Even more intriguing, it spins in the opposite direction to most planets in our solar system, a retrograde rotation that hints at a turbulent past, perhaps a cataclysmic collision in its early history that knocked it off kilter. While the exact cause of Venus's slow, retrograde spin remains a subject of debate, its effects are undeniable. The planet's incredibly long days and nights contribute to its extreme temperatures. The side facing the sun bakes for months on end, while the side facing away freezes in perpetual darkness. This extreme temperature differential creates a runaway greenhouse effect, trapping heat and turning Venus into a scorching inferno. Could Earth suffer a similar fate? While a collision with a planet-sized object is highly unlikely, the gradual slowdown caused by tidal forces is a very real phenomenon. Over millions of years, the gravitational tug-of-war between Earth and the Moon is slowly but surely sapping our planet's rotational energy, causing it to spin ever so slightly slower. The moon, our celestial companion, is more than just a pretty face in the night sky. Its gravitational pull, though weaker than the sun's, has a profound influence on our planet. It's the moon's gravity that drives the tides, causing the oceans to bulge out on the side facing the moon and the side facing away. But this gravitational dance has a hidden cost. As the moon orbits Earth, these tidal bulges create a slight drag on our planet's rotation. This drag, though minuscule, has been steadily slowing Earth's spin over billions of years. In fact, scientists estimate that a day on the early Earth was only about 6 hours long. Thanks to the moon's influence, our days have stretched to their current 24-hour length. This process of tidal breaking is ongoing, and while it's incredibly slow, it's relentless. Millions of years from now, Earth's rotation will continue to slow, and our days will continue to lengthen. Eventually, if nothing else interferes, Earth will become tidally locked to the moon, just as the moon is currently tidally locked to Earth, with one side perpetually facing us. But there's a twist. The moon is slowly spiraling away from Earth at a rate of about 1.5 inches per year. While this might seem insignificant, over billions of years, it will have a profound impact on Earth's fate. As the moon moves further away, its gravitational influence weakens, and the rate of tidal breaking slows. This means that Earth might never actually become tidally locked to the moon. Instead, our planet's rotation will continue to slow, but at an ever-decreasing rate until the sun itself intervenes. The prospect of a slowing Earth, while not as immediately catastrophic as a sudden stop, presents its own unique set of challenges for humanity. The lengthening days and nights, the shifting seasons, the disruption of our circadian rhythms, these would all require significant adaptations to our way of life. But if there's one thing that defines our species, it's our capacity for innovation and adaptation. Imagine a world where cities migrate, slowly shifting across the continents to follow the habitable twilight zone as Earth's rotation slows. Picture massive track-based cities, powered by renewable energy, moving at a snail's pace, their inhabitants accustomed to a life in perpetual motion, chasing the receding sunset or the elusive dawn. Agriculture, too, would undergo a radical transformation. Crops would be genetically engineered to thrive in the extended periods of daylight or darkness, their photosynthetic pathways optimized to maximize energy capture in a world where the sun's rhythm is no longer a constant. Vertical farms, illuminated by artificial light and powered by renewable energy, might become commonplace, providing sustenance in regions where natural sunlight is scarce or absent. And what of our biology? The human body, adaptable as it is, might evolve to cope with the changing day-night cycles. Perhaps we'd develop the ability to enter states of prolonged dormancy, much like bears hibernating through the winter, only on a much grander scale, our bodies conserving energy during the extended periods of darkness. Or perhaps we'd find ways to artificially regulate our circadian rhythms, using technology to maintain a semblance of normalcy in a world where time itself seems to be unraveling. A slowing Earth, rather than being our doom, could be the catalyst for a profound shift in our relationship with time, with our planet, and with ourselves. The relentless pace of modern life, driven by the artificial constraints of a 24-hour clock, might give way to a more leisurely, more contemplative existence. The extended days and nights could foster a deeper appreciation for the natural world, for the subtle changes that mark the passage of time. Imagine a world where sunsets are no longer fleeting moments but hours-long spectacles of celestial beauty, a time for reflection and connection. Picture stargazing becoming a nightly ritual, the vastness of the cosmos a source of wonder and inspiration as we gaze up at the same stars that captivated our ancestors. The challenges of a slowing Earth would undoubtedly be immense, but so too would be the opportunities for growth, for innovation, for a re-evaluation of our place in the grand scheme of things. We might learn to live more sustainably, more in tune with the rhythms of our planet, our lives less dictated by the clock, and more by the natural cycles of day and night, of growth and decay. In the face of such a profound cosmic shift, humanity might just find a new rhythm, a new harmony with the universe around us. The slowing of our planet's spin, rather than being the end of our story, could be the beginning of a new chapter, one defined by adaptation, innovation, and a deeper understanding of our place in the grand tapestry of the cosmos. It would be a testament to the enduring power of life, the resilience of our species, and our ability to find beauty and meaning even in the face of profound change. As we conclude our journey through the hypothetical yet utterly gripping scenario of a stationary Earth, a profound sense of awe and humility washes over us. We've witnessed the raw power of our planet, the delicate balance of forces that sustains life as we know it. The Earth's rotation, often taken for granted, is revealed to be the very heartbeat of our existence. Every sunrise, every gust of wind, every wave that crashes upon the shore is a testament to this silent ballet of motion. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, all are gifts from a planet in perpetual spin. It's a delicate dance, a symphony of forces that has played out for billions of years, shaping our world, our climate, and the very essence of life itself. The thought of this dance coming to an end, whether abruptly or gradually, is a sobering reminder of our own fragility. We are but passengers on this spinning sphere, our lives intertwined with its fate. The cataclysmic scenarios we've explored, while hypothetical, serve as a stark reminder of the forces at play, the delicate threads upon which our existence hangs. Yet amidst the destruction and chaos, a glimmer of hope emerges. Life, as we've seen, is remarkably resilient. It finds a way even in the most extreme environments. The human spirit, too, is capable of great adaptation, innovation, and resilience. The challenges of a stationary Earth, while daunting, might just unleash our collective creativity, forcing us to rethink our relationship with our planet and with each other. The next time you feel the warmth of the sun on your face or the wind tousling your hair, take a moment to appreciate the miracle of Earth's rotation. It's a force that connects us all, from the smallest microbe to the largest whale, a silent symphony that underpins the grand tapestry of life. As we look out into the vastness of space, we are reminded that Earth is but a tiny oasis in a cosmic desert. Countless stars, many hosting their own planetary systems, twinkle in the night sky, a testament to the universe's infinite possibilities. Yet, for all its vastness, we know of no other place quite like our home planet. Let us cherish this pale blue dot, this spinning sphere that nurtures and sustains us. Let us protect its delicate ecosystems, its atmosphere, its oceans, for they are the very lifeblood of our existence. And let us never forget the lessons learned from our hypothetical journey to a stationary Earth. For in the face of such cosmic possibilities, such awe-inspiring scenarios, we gain a deeper understanding of our place in the universe, a profound appreciation for the miracle of life, and a renewed sense of responsibility for the stewardship of our planet. The Earth, spinning or still, is a testament to the beauty, the wonder, and the enduring power of the cosmos. Let us ensure that its story and ours continues to unfold for generations to come.